We're going to go through all the top free agents of the 2026 MLB offseason and give you guys predictions. We've got a list of about 30-ish, maybe 40
50.
guys. 50? Is it that high?
It's definitely bigger than 30.
Okay. 40 to 50 free agents that we think will be impact players next season or have some sort of value to your team. And we gave them predictions. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you do, drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the Windup for more baseball content. We're going to have trade predictions out later this week as well. So you don't want to miss out on those. But without further ado, James, let's get started with what is clearly the best free agent on the market this year, Kyle Tucker. He's going to get paid a lot of money. There's not many teams that can pay him that much money. Where do you got him going?
I think you guys are going to hate me for this. I hate that we're starting the video here. I think Kyle Tucker is going to be a Dodger. I just do. The Dodgers this season, I know they're a super team and they're ruining baseball. They might have already ruined baseball by the time you guys are listening to this, but their outfield really wasn't that good. It was below average outfield in terms of every single guy, every single plate appearance by WRC plus. Every single outfielder that took an at bat for the Dodgers this year, their combined on base percentage was 299. Just wasn't good. And the Tucker market weirdly feels softer than it should at this point, like to begin the offseason. I just think the Dodgers will throw a big bag of money at him and he will accept it.
Yeah, Dodgers are definitely one of the favorites. I think the Yankees are also a team that's being thrown around a lot too, although you'd have to move Judge to center field most likely, which I don't know if that's the best move, which is why I got Kyle Tucker going to the Phillies. It just feels like for Dave Dombrowski and that team, it's make or break. Like they got to win. And if they don't get close to the World Series, Dombrowski's probably gone. We know that they're going to move on from some money with Castellanos by trading him this offseason. Ranger Suarez is a free agent. Kyle Schwarber might not be back. They've got to spend. They've got to get better, and Kyle Tucker, I think, would help them out there for sure.
My whole thing with the Phillies is that how do they actually move on from the Castellanos' money? Like you can trade him, but you're going to have to eat that contract. That's why I do think that
It's 1 year, so maybe they even just take half of it and you trade him to like the Pirates, and the Pirates just take him for like a 1 for 10, and he plays, or you trade him to a team that's a contender, even like maybe in the American League, and say we'll eat half the contract left.
something like that. I do think the actual dark horse for Castellanos. I don't know why it's not being discussed, but it's the Blue Jays. Blue Jays still have sacks of money,
For
made tons of money
Castellanos or for Tucker?
for Tucker.
You say Castellanos, okay?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, for Tucker, because I just think they're still pretty weak in the corner outfield.
Yes.
Barger can play either spot. We love Nathan Lucas on the windup, but like he could be our fourth outfielder pretty happily. Like I think that they're a team that could and should be very in on him.
Yeah, I mean, every team should be in on Kyle Tucker pretty much. I know Jim Bowden wrote an article where he even linked the Mets. I don't know how that one makes as much sense, but still, I think every team that wants to win, Kyle Tucker helps your team. Also, sneaky, don't count out the Astros. I know they traded him away, but I always still like to
Yeah.
think in my head that there's always a way where these guys get traded, come back, kind of like we saw with Chapman that 1 year when he got moved at the deadline. He's a great fit in Houston. It worked there before. It would work again.
So I'll tell you this, he's a perfect fit with the Astros, truthfully.
Okay, next up, James, we've got Alex Bregman on the free agent market. Where do you have Alex Bregman signing? Because I went a little crazy.
I think I went not that crazy. I think it's going to wind up being the Tigers because the Tigers threw the biggest bag of money at him last year. And the fact that he's opting out of a 1 year, $40 million deal with the Red Sox probably means he wants more security and more years. I think the fit with the Red Sox was great. I think in terms of parks where Alex Bregman can and will succeed, Fenway's great. He also got on so well with the young guys in that team. Like you could see the way Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony really gravitated towards him and how much they seem to value Bregman's leadership. But if Bregman wants a long-term deal, which again, it seems like why he would opt out, the Tigers are ready to give him a long-term deal. And I think that if they're ready to do it again, which I'm sure they will because their base is still fairly unsettled for them, I think it makes tons of sense.
I'm going to actually go to a rebuilding team here for Alex Bregman. He was connected to the Nationals a little bit last year. He has a
Yeah.
weird DC connection. I think his grandfather was like an owner of the Washington Redskins at one point, or
A
worked in
consultant or a lawyer, I think,
worked in the organization some way,
on
somehow.
the council.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a national. They've had a hard time figuring out the pieces to go around the young guys that are good on this roster, being James Wood and CJ Abrams. Third base has been a black hole for them. I think if there's a guy that you want to pay some money to that can be there for a while, that knows what winning's like, good culture guy, Alex Bregman, makes a lot of sense in DC. So I got the Nationals spending some money on him. Tigers makes a lot of sense, though, too.
That was where I also thought is possible, especially last year. But then the Nationals didn't really push in. I do wonder if they push in as they refresh everything. Paul Taboni is going to be the new president of baseball operations there. He came from the Red Sox this year. So it does make sense as you want to get young players, give them a good leader. I also think if the Rangers do spend money, it's a good fit there because playing Texas for a while, the Rangers, both corner positions unsettled with Josh Young and Jake Berger having both bad injury riddled seasons again. Makes sense.
All right, moving on to the next guy, Bo Bichette. He's been having a great season, had a pretty good postseason thus far, hitting the ball well in the few games that he's played. You mentioned Bregman to the Tigers. I think Bo Bichette could be a Tiger. Reason being, similarly, they can put him either second, short, third base. You can figure out a spot that makes sense for Bo Bichette. The defense is a little suspect, but in that ballpark, he's going to hit like 300. He's going to hit 20 home runs. He's a good offensive player, and I think the Tigers are looking for a little more offensive firepower out of their infield spots.
I agree with that. I like that. The Tigers, if they don't re-sign Gleyber Torres, they're going to go for a second baseman. As you guys will see in this video, there's a lot of musical chairs of positions, so we're going to have
Yes.
like the same 14 for the same 4 guys. I went kind of rogue with this one though. I think that the Sacramento Athletics are going to be spending
Whoa.
money this offseason, and I think they're going to give Bo Bichette a bag. Similar to what they did with Luis Severino last year, where they gave him so much more money than any other team. He just couldn't say no. I think that they're kind of going to blow it out of the water for Bichette, make him a second baseman full time, and just let him hit so much in that ballpark and be a veteran hitter to tie the top of that order together.
Yeah, a sneaky team I had for Bichette too, Atlanta Braves. They still
Yeah.
desperately need a shortstop, and while I don't think Bo's future's at the shortstop position, for a team that probably wants to win now, he would help them a ton offensively because they got literally no value there this year.
I would also say watch the Royals because the Royals do like to spend sneaky money and can get it. They would love a second baseman.
Yep, Bo Bichette's market's going to be interesting. All right, first pitcher, Framber Valdez. Weird end to the season. Left a bad taste in people's mouth with the thing that happened with Victor Caratini. But at the end of the day, we know that Framber's one of the 20, 25 best pitchers on the planet. He's really good. I've got him reconnecting with former front office guy Mike Elias, Baltimore Orioles. I think they need a frontline starter desperately. Desperately. I know people are like, Bradish is back and Tyler Wells, and the bullpen was really the biggest issue, but you need an ace. Framber Valdez is an ace, and I think he'd be great in that ballpark.
That's a great call. I like that one a lot. I have him going out west, though. San Francisco Giants. I know that Logan Webb's on a big deal. Robbie Ray is too, but Robbie Ray is entering the last year of his deal. And behind those 3 pitchers, Giants don't have any.
No.
So I do think, and the Giants are a team that we know from last offseason and the hiring of Tony Vitello, they're going to be pushing chips. They're going to be very active this offseason. And their lineup is weirdly kind of maxed out.
Yeah.
And they have room to improve. They want to improve. This team wants to be a playoffs team. They want to challenge the Dodgers. I see them getting one of these big pitchers. And this prediction, I'm going Framber there.
All right, Framber to the Giants. Next up, Kyle Schwarber. 50 home runs a year, but he's a DH. That's the only place you could play him. James, where you got Schwarber going?
I don't know why this connection hasn't been made because Kyle Schwarber's already spent time there, and it's because there is someone blocking him. But I think there's someone that this team's going to be desperately trying to get rid of. Boston Red Sox. You saw in the playoffs how badly the Red Sox need a big bat. I think they're going to stay limber at first base because I still think they want to give Tristan Casas one more chance. I also think they want to give Marcelo Meyer more chances at third base. So I think that they're just going to get the biggest bat they can find. It won't take a very long-term deal because Kyle Schwarber is a DH and he's in his mid-30s. If they can just find any way to get Masato Kishida off this roster. He even has minor league options. You could just force him in the minor leagues. He could decline it. That'll probably be a huge firestorm and be a mess. But I think Kyle Schwarber to the Red Sox makes a bit of too much sense.
I could totally see it. He loved his time there. I went nuts for Schwarber. I went with a crazy one. A team that thought they were going to win this year. Didn't do much, but almost made the playoffs. Arizona Diamondbacks. That DH spot, they haven't had anybody. I know they could rock Pavin Smith. What, you got a big bug above your head?
There's a spider descending from the ceiling here, right into me.
Is it going to drop into the frame?
It might drop into the frame. He's going slow.
Let it drop into the frame. Let's see what happens. But I think Schwarber could go out to Arizona for the Diamondbacks. He'll hit 50 home runs, maybe even 60 a year there. The ball flies. That team is weirdly in a spot where they still can make a couple moves and become a competitive team again. Again, they almost made the postseason. I don't know what their spending is going to be like. I don't know what happens with Ketel Marte. This is thinking positively about the Diamondbacks, and I think Schwarber would be a good fit.
It truthfully is so many question marks with a team like the Diamondbacks. That's why these exercises are funny because you kind of have to pick who's going to spend money. We don't know who's going to be. And the Diamondbacks are one of those teams where it's like kind of a 50-50 chance if they decide to play the offseason or not.
I can't believe the spider above you. Seeing you look up every 2 seconds is crazy.
This is the wind-up difference. It's getting really close to the frame. It's directly in front of my face.
Really?
I'm starting to blow it around with my words. That's why I'm just staring at it because it's going to come close.
Can't even see it on the camera yet. All right, next up. Oh, wait, I'm in charge of who's next. Ooh, Cody Bellinger. I'll take this one while you think about what's going to go on with the spider if it drops there. New York Mets. I've wanted Bellinger on the Mets for a minute now. I think the Mets, it's not I think. The Mets have a glaring hole in center field. They need a center fielder, and Oh, there's a spider. I mean, it's a white speck on the screen, but
But you can see him.
yeah, you can see him. There he is. There's our little buddy. You can get rid of him now if you want, if he's distracting you.
I'm
But
gonna let him drop. There he is.
whoa. You can really see it when he goes, wow,
The
he's got some
hair.
long legs. Is that a daddy long legs that we're looking at? Cody Bellinger, Mets. First base is a hole possibly with Pete Alonso. Center field's a hole possibly with this team. I know Carson Benj could be there, but I think the Mets would love to not make him the opening day starting center fielder. And simply put, Cody Bellinger's really good.
Yeah.
So I think for a team that's prioritizing defense, Cody Bellinger would be a good move for the Mets.
I like that. As a Mets fan, I would like that, but I don't know what that would mean for Pete Alonso, so we're going to get to that when it comes. I think Cody Bellinger is a nice fit. I don't know if there's still some bad blood for the Houston Astros.
Ooh.
The Astros are dying for just some infusions of athleticism. The Astros are dying for corner outfield help. Also, there have to be some questions about Christian Walker heading into the season after the way last year went. I think he'll probably still be like a league average first baseman.
They might have done the Jose Abreu 2.0 again with Christian Walker.
Exactly. Again, like let's sign 35-year-old first baseman. What could possibly go wrong? But I do think that he gives you some flexibility, gives him a left-handed bat. And again, they don't usually sign left-handed bats because of what the Crawford box are like there. But I think that's just a good fit for a team that's starving for outfield help.
Yes, I think a lot of teams will be in on Bellinger. I think Phillies, Dodgers as well. Dodgers
Yeah.
reunion, I could totally see for Bellinger.
Yankees as well, a Cubs reunion as well. Like a lot, just going to be 10 teams are shooting Bellinger.
Well, you mentioned him, Pete Alonso, James. You got him going back to the Mets?
I do have him going back to the Mets. Going through this exercise, it's just the first base market is, I'm not going to say it's like, ripe, but I think that there's a few teams that need them and a few guys out there. It's going to be a pure case of musical chairs. I think Alonso back to the Mets makes too much sense. I think at the end of the day, they both still like each other too much to not do it. I think the Mets will give him a fair deal. I don't think anyone's blowing an offer totally out of the water for him.
Yeah, the first baseman market depends, like you said, on the musical chairs of X needs to happen for Y to happen. Pete Alonso to the Mets is the simplest move of all the first basemen. Just go back to the team that needs him. The Mets are going to pay him, I think, a fair value. I don't think Pete's going to get his 7-year contract, but I could see a 4 or 5 year deal where he's around $25-30 million a season. And I don't know how Pete Alonso says no. That being said, I have Pete going to the Red Sox. He fits incredible in Fenway Park. He would be a premier player in that lineup, middle of the lineup guy, kind of filling in that Rafael Devers void a little bit. And I think this team desperately wants to move on from Tristan Casas. I don't know how many more chances this guy can get. I know injuries have gotten in the way, but he's also a head case, and it feels like there's a weird vibe there with Casas and the Red Sox.
Remember a few years ago when people were speculating trades for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. when he hadn't signed an extension yet, and it was like Casas for Vlad, and Red Sox fans were like, no way.
Yeah.
Funny thing about that one.
Or the Mariners trades, which is like, we'll give you Casas, you give us a pitcher.
Yeah.
But Casas' value is low. That's the only thing I think that could stop this right now.
For sure. I think that they want to give him a few more chances.
Yes. Next up, Ranger Suarez. This one, legitimately, I think was one of the toughest ones I have.
I agree.
I put him on the Braves. I think the Braves just need some more innings.
Braves.
I still think they're trying to win, and I don't know what Rangers' contract's going to look like. That's the biggest thing is, what are teams actually going to pay him? Because we all know he's good, but is he going to want ace money? Because he shouldn't get that. But his numbers in terms of like ERA and innings and all that does make you think he's like at least a number 2.
I think so too. He's definitely a great 3 and a pretty good 2, but he shouldn't be a 1. I think for all these reasons and the fact of the qualifying offer existing, he just winds up back with the Phillies. I think the Phillies love him. I think the fans love him. I think the clubhouse loves him. He's been such like a Swiss Army knife for them, going from the rotation, going from the bullpen to the rotation, now becoming a frontline dude. Their internal pitching development is awesome.
Yep.
Caleb Cotham as the pitching coach is incredible. Like I think that's something that it works really well together. It's a ballpark you need to suppress tough contact and fly balls. He does that well. I think it's too good to be true for him to leave.
I agree. I do think the Phillies are a great fit, but I could see maybe if he wants to go get paid, somebody does it. But that qualifying offer is going to kill him. Do you have another spider?
Do I know? I'm
okay. I thought you realized there's another one.
Sorry, there's a second spider.
All right, Dylan Cease, James. Where are we going?
Similar thing. I don't want to be boring. But he's going to have a qualifying offer. I think it's going to kill his market. No one's going to give Dylan Cease a 6 or 7 year deal. He's going back to the Padres for 1 more year.
If he doesn't go to the Padres, where's he going?
I like the Mets as a fit, but the Mets,
I had him.
David Stearns has been unwilling to give up picks for qualifying offer guys just because the Mets are losing picks every year because they keep going over the third threshold of the luxury tax that was made specifically for them. Maybe now the farm system's good enough that this is the offseason that the Mets are willing to sign guys with qualifying offers, especially if they can get a guy like Cease for a 4 year deal with like an opt out after 2. And I think that they They don't even have a pitching coach right now, but I still think they're confident in internal pitching development that they can get the best version of him.
Yeah, add cease to the Mets. The scary thing with him, like you mentioned, is that qualifying offer. Also, I think he might, because the market's not going to be as aggressive with him because of that qualifying offer. If he takes one, it would be like a 1 year make it, break it, prove it deal so that he can go get paid the next offseason.
But then you're unwilling to give someone the 1 year make or break it, prove it if you're already giving up the pick. You know what I mean? Then you're
Well, it might not make sense for the Mets in that scenario,
Yeah.
but another team that might make sense. Not them, but like the Phillies or the Dodgers, where they're like,
Yeah.
we got to win right now.
someone has to be
Blue
confident.
Jays.
Someone has to be confident enough in what Dylan Cease is to give him multiple years. Because if you're giving up the pick already,
Yes.
it's kind of like you're already making half a trade for Dylan Cease. You're giving up a low grade prospect for him. You might as well give him a few years. You have to be that confident in him anyway to do that.
All right, let's talk about the only catcher that anybody should care about on the free agent market, JT Realmuto. Is there any world where he's not playing for the Phillies? Because I don't really see it.
I think so. I think slightly. We've talked about this before, both on Met Stuff and on this channel, where sometimes when things go wrong so many times in a row with the same guys, you have to change things up for the sake of changing them up. I don't know who'd be the Phillies catcher without him.
Yes.
I kind of see him as a fit on the Padres. I know they made the
Okay,
big trade
yeah.
for Freddie Fermin, but they can definitely use an upgrade there, at least offensively. And I think they're a team that probably still keeps pushing chips in. Like maybe this is the time they don't, but you just traded a top 5 prospect in baseball for a closer, so you might as well keep trying to win.
As long as AJ Preller is there, I think they're going to keep trying
Yeah.
to win. My sneaky team, though, a little reunion with the Marlins. I could see the Marlins sneaky spending a little money this offseason.
I've got a good fit here for the Marlins. I'm excited to talk about as we get to it.
Okay, cool. Now we move on to a third baseman, Eugenio Suarez. Is this your Marlins fit?
Beautiful segue. Eugenio Suarez to the Marlins.
Wow, nice.
I think it's perfect. I think that the Marlins saw this year, and especially at the end of last year, like Connor Norby is more of a utility infielder than a third baseman. He wasn't good offensively. He hasn't been good there defensively. I think that the Marlins can use some pop in that lineup. I think they want to keep first base preserved for Augustine Ramirez. I think that there's a small track record there of getting some Latino players to come down to Miami, give them a little bag for it. And at the end of the season, Peter Bendix in his post-mortem press conference said, we're spending. He said, we think we're nearly ready to win. They have a rotation that looks like it's going to be ready to win. They're kind of 2 hitters away from contending for a wild card spot.
I'll say this: there's like outside of the top guys, I think the Marlins. It wouldn't surprise me if they sign any of these next few guys that we mentioned.
Yes,
but it is hard to
Corner
predict guys to the Marlins just because until we see it happen, it's hard to know how much money they will spend. I have Eugenio Suarez to the Phillies. I know Alec Boehm is there right now. I think there's a world where they move on from Alec Boehm. I think there's a world where Alec Boehm goes to first base, Bryce Harper goes back to the outfield, Eugenio Suarez at third base. The Phillies need more hitters, which sounds insane, but they simply do, especially if they lose Schwarber. So I have him there.
Yeah, I can't believe the Bryson, Alec, JT lineup.
Trey.
Can get a little bit of spice in there. Be good for them.
Yeah, Eugenio and Edmundo would have some fun for sure.
I think Eugenio Suarez is a guy, which is why I put him to the Marlins. I think he's sneaky not going to have that big of a market. I think everyone in the league knows how
tough.
Inconsistent he is.
Yeah.
Both offensively and defensively. He's not that young. Like he's a very funny player. And I think that
and it feels like it could drop off at any moment.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I could see him signing 2 for $40, truthfully.
Yeah, like remember like when Donaldson fell off like crazy, and I believed in Donaldson more as a player than I do as Eugenio Suarez.
And that's kind of also what we talk about with the Alonso market. We're going to talk about Josh Naylor, like these corner guys that aren't exactly the most premier athletes ever. It just kind of happens once in a while, which is why they never really get these long-term deals, which is why probably people like Bregman.
Yeah, because he's just going to be a little more
nimble.
Good floor, at least.
Yeah.
Trent Grisham, James, where you got him going?
Grisham's a fun one because I can see Grisham fitting on most teams in the league.
Yep.
I like him as a fit with the Mariners. The Mariners are a team that kind of likes to live on the edges a little bit. I'm not sure. Like I just had Eugenio Suarez leaving. I don't even know if they're going to re-sign Naylor because they don't have the advantage of the qualifying offers with those guys. So, I mean, I don't think you would give one to Eugenio, but not Naylor. So I think they're going to have to be, again, nimble. They have some infield prospects. They can use some. Their outfield is abysmal.
Pitiful. Yeah.
And again, they really value defensive outfielders. Well, their outfield was pretty good by the end of the year, but
Randy and Julio are great. It's just that third spot, you can't play Robles anymore every day.
And again, with one of the biggest outfields in baseball, it's clear how much they want outfield defense. And Grisham, you can have someone that's like an average defensive outfielder in center be a plus defender in right. I think that's a good fit.
Yeah, I got Grisham going to the Dodgers. I think he makes a lot of sense there. Good left-handed bat. You'll be able to still platoon him enough, which the Dodgers do like to do because they have some guys that can mash left-handed pitching. Trent Grisham gets on base, put him in the corner. He'll be a good outfielder. Andy Pajes locks down center field. I think that will make the Dodgers an even better team if they can't go get a guy like Tucker.
And I would say watch out for maybe the Cubs because the Cubs probably going to see an outfielder because they're losing Kyle Tucker.
Also, could be the Yankees again too.
Definitely, I think that makes tons of sense. It's
Yes.
very, very successful there.
Shane Bieber just pitched a dog of a game in Game 4 for the Blue Jays. I have him leaving, though. I have him, you mentioned this team earlier with Framber. I have him going to the San Francisco Giants. I think that this feels like Buster Posey written all over it. Just like this guy won a Cy Young. He pitched good in the postseason. I need a postseason pitcher. Shane Bieber, like as a 2/3 in this rotation, feels pretty good, and that's a great ballpark for anybody to pitch in.
All right, so here's funny enough. I have him going to the Orioles for the
There
same
you go.
reasons. 'Cause I
That
think
was the
Orioles,
other team I considered.
Yeah, because I think the Orioles more so for Framber than more so for Bieber than Framber are going to be prudent with long-term deals. Like I think Framber gets 6 or 7. I think Bieber only gets 3 or 4,
Yes.
truthfully, at the end of the day. And I think
With some
that
opt-outs.
that's much more up the Orioles' alley than giving out the huge deal.
I can see that. Another guy who's probably going to be on a shorter term contract because the season was weird. Michael King. This is your boy, James. Where you got him going?
This one I like for the Cubs. I think the
Ooh.
Cubs need to invest in that rotation a little bit more. They kind of got, I mean, they didn't really get exposed there because they gave the Padres, like 7 hits in the 3-game series.
Yeah.
But the Brewers kind of showed them that they need some more pitchers to get to the next level. And I think that, again, similarly, not going to take a very long-term deal. The Cubs, I think more than a lot of other teams, give a lot of value to command. They're a very command-based rotation. And I think King has, when he's on, like the gaudiest command in baseball, one of my favorite pitchers to watch. I think it's a really good fit to become their one.
I do see Michael King going back to the Padres just for one more year, run it back. I also have the Arizona Diamondbacks for them. Their starting rotation is abysmal right now. Like you look at some of the guys on the back end of this. Yes, they've had some injuries, but Christian Mena, Bryce Jarvis, Brandon Pfaadt, like Erod. Right now, Ryan Nelson is basically their one. This is why the Diamondbacks. I mean, he's great, but I don't think you feel good about him being your number one guy right now. They need some help, and this ownership has shown that they do still want to try and win, even though they made some trades. But that was to get better for next season, I think. So I've got him there. Zach Allen, I think, also could be going back to the Diamondbacks on a one-year deal, especially if they give him the qualifying offer, which I think they will. That being said, if he doesn't sign with them, I got Zach Allen going to the Red Sox.
Me too.
Hey, let's go. We matched up. They've been doing this with pitchers the last few years. They did it with Giolito. They did it with Walker Buehler. It failed with Buehler. It was okay with Giolito. Feels like a good place for Zach Allen to prove it. Also a Northeast guy.
I think Zach Gallen also, this happens with players all the time where the first half is so fucking bad.
Yes.
It drags down their stats so much. Zach Allen had a pretty fine second half. Like I think you're okay with Zach Allen being your 3 on a playoff team still.
Totally. Like you don't want him to be getting huge outs, but in a long series, it's fine. You have to get some innings. He'll give you innings for sure.
Zach Gallen had basically the same whip as Gavin Williams, and Gavin Williams' ERA was 1.8 runs lower.
Yeah, there you go. It just might be a little unlucky, and also playing in one of the best divisions of baseball versus playing in the AL Central.
100%. But then going to Fenway Park and not helping any of these things. No. But it does. I don't know why. The fit just makes sense to me. It's a personality match.
We didn't do any relievers on our list.
I have some relievers. In the original list you gave me, I have relievers.
I forgot to write down relievers and predict them.
I apologize. Yeah, that's why I was saying 50 and you were saying 40.
That's the difference. All right, Devin Williams. Who do you got, James? I'll think of it while you say a name.
The Mets.
Okay. Dang it.
I think Devin Williams is going to be a Met. I think that the Mets are going to love the Devin Williams reclamation project. I also think by the time the season was over, he wasn't that bad, but I don't think any team's going to give him more than 2 years. I think he could get like the 2 for 25 a lot of relievers get.
Yeah, I do think that there's still, he's way too good of a pitcher to be as bad as he was with the Yankees. The stuff still feels like it's good, especially that, what do they call the changeup again?
Airbender.
The airbender. Throw him to the Giants. They need some bullpen help. I'll take the Giants on a weird pitcher like that.
Yeah, a couple of teams can kind of go that direction.
Every contending team. It's kind of like you look at all these relievers. Yeah. Every reliever is going to go to every contending team. Luke Weaver was next on this list. I don't really care about talking about Luke Weaver. Do you?
Nah, I honestly didn't write it in my mind, so I'm going to skip Luke Weaver.
Josh Naylor.
Josh Naylor is a weird one because I think that Mariners fans want him back so badly.
And
I think the fit was great.
I have him to the Mariners back.
Okay. I don't have him in the Mariners. He's another guy who I think his market might be sneaky suppressed. I think that sometimes this is not how I feel, but I think sometimes baseball front offices see a guy that's a little bit rotund and they don't want to give him a 3 or 4 year deal. This is the craziest thing in my thing because I think this team can easily go through the whole offseason, not sign anybody. But this team needs a hitter. This team needs a culture changer. Pittsburgh Pirates, live a little. Yeah. Why not? Have some fun.
They're a team where it's like, I love so many players to go to Pittsburgh and play there in that ballpark, but we just know they won't sign a guy. If you're looking for a multi-year deal, I think the last time they signed one was Ivan Nova was their last multi-year free agent.
No, I think it was him or Liriano.
Yeah, or one of those guys. Regardless, that's way too long ago. Those guys
Yeah.
aren't in baseball anymore. Josh Naylor's probably not going to want that. I think a sneaky team too is the Texas Rangers for Josh Naylor.
Similar to when I talk about Bregman, but just if they're saying they're not going to spend money, I have to believe them. So I kind of left them off this list.
Ryan Helsley, did you predict him?
Yeah, Ryan Helsley. I have him going to the Cincinnati Reds to be a very good closer again.
Sure, cool, got it. There's James. I'm just gonna let you do the relievers. You're the relief pitch whisperer guy.
Yeah, I'll talk relievers as we go through these, and then I think we want to throw out one of these Japanese players because we haven't gone to any of them yet.
Ooh, that's a good point. I forgot they're not going to be on this list. All right.
Yes.
Want to just knock them all out right now?
Yeah, let's do them. It's going to be the Japanese 10-minute section of the wind-up free agent predictions.
Munetaka Murakami. There is a crazy rumor going around, especially in Japan. Again, shout out NPB correspondent Wheels. The Guardians apparently are obsessed with Murakami, and this might be a guy that they go out and spend some money on. We know J-Ram called out ownership and said, I will not be back. I will not sign an extension unless you prove to me you're trying to win. I'm tired of this. Murakami would be a great fit there. We know the competition's a lot weaker in the AL Central. Might be a nice way to ease him into the major leagues for a guy who swings and misses a ton. I like Murakami to the Guardians, although that is a crazy prediction.
Yeah, I just am going with kind of where I think Murakami wants to go. I don't know if his team wants him that much, but I think he would take less money to be a New York Yankee. He seems obsessed with the Yankees. It's not a great fit either because the Yankees just
horrible fit.
Terrible fit because they still have Giancarlo Stanton. Ben Rice should be their starting first baseman, but
Murakami cannot play third. Don't let anybody tell you that this guy can play third. That's the only spot you might consider him though with the Yankees.
But Rice, I think, can catch, and I think that they're comfortable enough to move all those guys around enough with Giancarlo taking 2 days off a week and understanding he's playing a maximum 100 games a year, even if he stays fully healthy, 120 maybe. And the Yankees are in a spot where they could either this offseason do nothing or just kind of go crazy. I don't really see the Yankees sitting in the middle. So I do think if they sit on their hands, maybe they miss out on Bellinger. They're just like, we got to get a bat. And they go and get Murakami just to try and add star power, even though I don't know if he actually is a star quality player to what they have.
Sure. I can see the Yankees. And before all this stuff happened, even with the Ben Rice development, Murakami was linked to the Yankees
heavily. It seems like he wants to go there.
Pitching-wise, let's talk about Imai. To be honest, he was one of the best pitchers in the MPB this past year. Haven't done a crazy amount of research on what the teams are that are rumored into him. Conceptually thinking about where he fits, I like the Blue Jays. They could always use more pitching. They've been after a lot of the top international free agents the last few years. I could see Imai going to Toronto.
I think Imai, and again, I like Imai. Imai has a funky fastball that gets swings and misses. He has a splitter like every pitcher in the MPB, and he has
every pitcher on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and he has a cool little back-me-up slider that I think will be a tough look for Major League hitters. Bit of a crossfire delivery as well. I kind of think that he's just going to go the biggest bidder, and we know this team is in the middle of every free agent, every offseason for no good reason, and it's simply close to Japan, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
There you go.
It's just
join Kikuchi.
They're going to throw some cash around, and I think Artie Moreno's finally admitting that his facilities are other dog shit, and they're going to try and change them up. And I think they're going to keep trying to bang their head against the wall and make this team into a winner. The only way they know how, which is with money.
And Kurt Suzuki on a 1-year deal as a manager is the most insane thing I've still seen to this day.
I think that helps also a Japanese player signing a long-term deal, just having a Japanese manager.
Possibly, even though Kurt Suzuki's like
he's American. He's American as fuck. Yeah, but yeah. I think he still has the shine of a Japanese player.
Last Japanese player we're going to talk about, Kazuma Okamoto. I've got him going to the Mets because, again, I think Pete might not be back. Okamoto to the Mets, I think, fits kind of the David Stearns mold a little bit, where he is not going to be the power that you see from Murakami, but he's going to swing and miss a lot less. He still gets on base, can legitimately play first base, and has been one of the better hitters in the MPB over the last few years. His game might translate more consistently at the major league level than a guy like Murakami, who there's a way higher ceiling, but a much lower floor, it feels like, too.
And we know a lot of people that we trust and that think that, again, that Okamoto will be a better, more stable player than Murakami. And I do think he still is a good fit to be a guy with good athleticism, good defense, and just hit 25 homers with 760 OPS. I have him the Mariners, though, because I think the Mariners can use help at both first and third base, because I have them both losing both Naylor and Eugenio Suarez these predictions. You can fit him in at either and see how you can fit in your team elsewhere with that. And again, Japanese players seem to prefer the West Coast. I kind of understand why.
Totally. Back to the players that have been in the major leagues. Merrill Kelly James, this is your boy. Where you got Woogie from There's Something About Mary going?
You talk about the fact that the Orioles need a frontline pitcher, but we know the Orioles are never going to do that because they're never going to spend that money. So he's Merrill Kelly's going to the Orioles. He's going to be a boring three. He's going to throw 180 innings with 3.7 ERA. He's going to grind out a couple tough wins against the Yankees, and he's going to get popped by them a few times too. But
You say this
he's
always, teams need a little oatmeal. Merrill Kelly's some oatmeal.
Merrill Kelly's perfect oatmeal. And the Orioles badly need oatmeal.
I think the Tigers also need a little oatmeal too. I
Yeah.
like him there, especially if they trade Derek Skubal. I think they're still going to try and pretend like they're trying to win, even though you can't when you trade the best pitcher in baseball. But they'll need innings. I think
Yeah.
Merrill Kelly could be that guy. Skubal could also be that guy for that.
Easy innings for them.
Gleyber Torres, former Tiger. Where you got him going?
I think it makes a lot of sense for him to go back to the Tigers. I have him going back to the Tigers in this. It seemed like a good fit. It seemed like he gelled well with those guys. If not, though, I has him as being another huge option for the A's, but I did have Bichette going there early. That's what you had?
I got him to the Athletics, yeah.
I just think that it's a good match there. And again, the A's, for the Athletics to sign players, they're going to have to just blow them out of the water. And I think after Glaber's market was soft this year, I think it'll be a little more ripe. And I think the A's will be able to blow any water. Just give him a 3-year deal, basically, and you got him.
And I think he's just a good player. He's going
He's
to
a
hit
fine player.
well in that minor league ballpark. He'll get up to 20, 25 home runs probably again. He's good. I think he makes the floor of this team so much higher.
And I think this offseason they will find a way to do that.
Yes. And I think there's a weird secret agreement where they're going to have to spend a little more money since they're going to Vegas, not an expansion team. That's just tinfoil. We're putting the tinfoil hat on. All right, another second baseman here, Jorge Polanco. I've got him going to the Royals. Truthfully, I think Jeff McNeil's going to end up being a Royal, but they need a second baseman so badly. You can't play Jonathan India. You can't play Michael Massey anymore. The Royals, I think, want to try and win. They like you said, they'll spend some money. Jorge Polanco, I don't know if he's the best fit for the kind of player he is, but in terms of a hole that needs to be filled, Jorge Polanco. He's a good spot.
Royals are one of 7 teams in baseball, I believe, or maybe it was 8, that spends more than 50% of their revenue on payroll, or spent more than 50% of their revenue on payroll this past season. So they are a team that tries to win, which is why I have them fit for, again, Torres and Bo Bichette. But with Bo Bichette leaving the Blue Jays, I think Polanco slides into the Blue Jays. Just nice 1-year deal for a second baseman, keep the chain moving there.
You think they're going to keep Jimenez at shortstop? Do you think they like him there?
I think so at that point, because you just don't find shortstops in Major League Baseball. There's none around.
And he's playing it pretty well, honestly, defensively.
It is just, you can clearly see he doesn't have the arm for shortstop, but the range is still good enough. You've seen in the World Series some of those plays in the hole, like if you had a cannon, you make the plays because he gets to everything. But sometimes it's just he'll too hop a throw. All
right, let's talk about our favorite city boy, Harrison Bader. What? He's conquered every major city, I think, in America, and the guy's Rolodex is going to be running deep. He's due to probably go out to LA. That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to nail this one. If any of you have been to Old Town Scottsdale, that place is crawling with co-eds, and I think Harrison Bader's going to be all over it.
Yeah, Harrison Bader, he's going to places where he can go out, which is why I think he's going to come home where the roster is deep as possible. Yankee, once again.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Bader's like low-key really good now, especially because he made legitimate changes to his swing. The bat speed's way up. It's sticky. Like, I think he's going to be a 10% better than league average hitter consistently now and play premier center field until the end of time.
And that's why I kind of have him on the Yankees. Again, I think that he's a defensive upgrade over Trent Grisham and probably a similar bat. No, Grisham had a much better year this year, but I think that this, in terms of what's going to happen next year, it won't be that difference at the plate, and Bader gives you a much better glove.
Ryan O'Hearn. This one to me was obvious. Put him in Milwaukee. He's going to platoon with Andrew Vaughn. Don't let Ryan O'Hearn see lefties. Don't let Andrew Vaughn see righties. Go to the Brewers.
I had the exact same idea, but for a different team, and it felt similarly obvious to me. The Boston Red Sox. Just be the best platoon partner in the league for Romy Gonzalez. Right there, you have a righty and a lefty.
And then Costas is gone?
No, I think that still gives Costas the opportunity to blend back in, because Costas is going to be out for the first half. He had a very serious knee issue. Yeah, we probably don't see Tristan Costas till July. But O'Hearn's the kind of guy you can give a 1 or 2 year deal to. 2 with an opt-out after 1. You still keep the door wedged open for Costas, but you let O'Hearn be there, and him and Romy together, you might get an 860 OPS with great defense every single day.
Last guy before we get going into the wheel of chaos of the random free agent players that we're going to talk about. Mike Yastrzemski, low-key, was awesome for the Royals down the stretch. Yeah. A big reason why they almost looked like a real baseball team. Where you got Mike Yastrzemski going, James?
This is similar to my pick with Naylor, where I'm just begging this team to try for 1 second of their lives. The Cleveland Guardians.
go. Guardians as well. Let's go.
And the Guardians seem to value corner outfield defense. Also, Yastrzemski has a cannon of an arm still. Like, please get some more major league caliber hitters in there, just so you can possibly win a couple games on purpose instead of by accident.
I cannot see Will Brennan play the outfield anymore for that team. I can't do it. It's just not going to work, guys.
I think we've also missed a couple pitchers I want to talk through before we get to the Wheel of Chaos.
Who are some of the
Edwin
pitchers?
Diaz?
Oh, well, I didn't write down the relievers, remember? Because when we
true.
went through this, I forgot that. Edwin Diaz is going to be a Met. Nowhere else.
I agree with that, too. Even though especially the fact that, besides the fact that Anthony DeComo said that Pete Alonso has a better chance of being a Met than Edwin Diaz. And I forgot to mention this before the Japanese player section. Anthony DeComo's first base options for the Mets, not Pete Alonso. He didn't even mention Kazuma Okamoto.
Interesting. DeComo, I feel like, has lost his finger on the pulse a little bit more recently over the last few years. I think he's just too busy hanging out with Gelbs.
What about Jack Flaherty?
Jack Flaherty, I think, is oh, yeah, Angels, baby. Put him to the Angels. California kid. I think he grew up in the area. He went to like Harvard Westlake, and that insane thing with Fried and Giolito all on the same team, which, what the fuck? That's an unbelievable. That's a good major league rotation, like, let alone in high school. Angels are dumb enough to give that guy some money.
Same idea, Padres. I think the Padres know they can get away with giving Flaherty not that many years, and I still think you can coax out an easy mid-rotation pitcher in Jack Flaherty.
And he can't get more than a year. Like, so he's going to go somewhere to prove it again.
And I think that's fine. I think if you want to prove it, San Diego's a great place to prove it in that park with Ruben Niebla.
All right. Any other pitcher that you want to mention before we do Wheel of Chaos?
We almost Wheel of Chaos time. Yeah, let's just start running around the Wheel of Chaos.
All right. I'm just going to go down my list. Luis Arise. Where's he going, James?
This is my favorite fit in the entire board. I think this is an absolute match made in heaven. Luis Arise is going to be a Colorado Rocky.
Oh, Dick Monfort. I could see him being all over the guy who's going to hit 320.
I know the Rockies are trying to modernize and they're trying to prove that they have a little bit more of their finger on the analytical pulse, but I think they just know that they're going to. Luis Arise might have like a 415 on base percentage of Colorado, truthfully. Like,
it is the best fit.
It's the best fit. They can use a player at first, second, DH, anywhere. It doesn't matter. They don't have anybody. So put Luis Arise there. He's going to love hitting 350. The media's going to love him hitting 350. The people in Colorado are going to love him hitting 350. Everything works out perfectly.
Angels. Anytime that there's something that's like a little stupid, I'm always going to throw the Angels out there. They have the worst facilities. They have a terrible front office. They treat players terribly. They don't have air conditioning. Luis Arise, Artie Moreno can't wait to put him at second base. I know that he can't play that position. He doesn't care. He's going to put him at second base every single day. That clears up the first base, second base. Ooh, Trevor Story. Do we think Trevor Story opts out?
I think there's a chance he might, just because the shortstop market is barren, basically, besides him and Bo Bichette. I don't know if either guy really is a shortstop anymore, so I do think he maybe stays in because he might not be viewed as a shortstop anymore. But if he does opt out, I see the Tigers being in because they desperately need a shortstop.
Yeah, I think he ends up staying in Boston. I don't think he opts out again because the year was good on the counting side, but the slash line number is not the greatest. Like a better fantasy baseball season than actuality. Yeah. I think the Braves, similarly like with Bo, while they might not actually be shortstops, I think that in that ballpark, Trevor Story could clean up.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's get a lot more pitchers I got.
Yeah, throw out a pitcher, James.
Chris Bassett, World Series relief hero.
Athletics, hopefully. Back to Oakland. Well, Sacramento.
I had Giants.
Okay.
Similar idea. Giants they need to fill out the middle of that rotation. He is an Ohio guy, so I could see the Reds just, if they actually trade Hunter Green, which would break my brain, just to get a mid-rotation guy there for a year. It could
another
be Bassett,
Nick Martinez.
Yeah, Zach Littell, welcome home. But Bassett's better than those guys. But I think Bassett, again, Giants need some spackle in the middle of that rotation badly. They don't really have any pitching prospects on the way. I have them getting Framber at the top, but they're going to need multiple pitchers.
Justin Verlander. Where's he going, James?
Back to the Giants. I thought
you were going to say back to Detroit. I said he's got to end in Detroit. He has to.
I can see that, but I just think that, does he want to move again? Does Kate want to move again?
Yeah, where does Kate want to go? That's the real question.
I'm sure she likes San Francisco. Might want to stick it out there.
Probably an easier sell than Detroit right now.
I think truthfully, much.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
All right, one more pitcher before I go back to the hitters. Zach Eflin, a guy who I think's going a little underrated on this market right now.
I think so too, just because the last few years were bad. The injuries are bad. He's had a lot of bad injuries in his career. Knees, back, elbow.
This is a fun, let's take a half-court shot and see if it works.
You know who's going to do that?
The Mets?
The Mets.
Okay. I mean, I would love Zach Eflin as our take a shot, Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, Griffin Canning option. I think the Astros are going to take the shot on him.
Yeah, I can see that happening. But the Astros, they're kind of recreating the whole organization this offseason. So I don't
Yes.
know if because they've lost Chris Murphy. He's now going to be the pitching coach of the Pirates. I think the Mets were in on him as well. That was like Brent Strom's understudy. So I don't know if the Astros are going to have the same pitching magic anymore.
Yeah, we'll have to see where he goes. Back to the hitters. I want to talk about, Max Kepler. Low-key did some decent things for the Phillies down the stretch. You mentioned this team before, needing some corner outfield help. Give me the Seattle Mariners for Max Kepler.
I had the Mariners doing that too. Even though I did have them with Grisham, I think the Mariners this season learned that to be a true World Series contender, you might need more players than spots on your team. So I think
Yes.
finally they're going to realize that Max Kepler is a fine professional baseball player.
He's a little redundant with Dominic Canzone, but I do think Kepler probably, at his best, is a better version of Dominic Canzone.
I think similarly, depending on what happens with the Cubs, I think the Cubs will be in on him too.
Okay. Two more hitters here, and then we'll just go through the rest of the pitchers. Cedric Mullins going, because boy, talk about a guy who killed any ounce of value he had. I think everybody in baseball is like, I don't know what the fuck to do with Cedric Mullins because he can't play center field anymore. The
You know what
arm
happens-
is horrendously bad, and he couldn't hit a lick. That's why I got him going to the Astros.
I have him going to the Twins or the White Sox, just a team that's going to need to save face at the end of the offseason, just sign a baseball player.
Could see the White Sox if they trade Luis Robert.
Yeah, possible. Just to get a guy.
Last hitter, bad guy, Marcelo Ozuna. If it's not the Braves, James, I think it's going to be the Padres.
Okay, sneakily, I actually have him going to jail.
Oh, nice. Okay, jail.
Yeah.
Good. You think
Jail.
he gets back in the bad graces of God?
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean he's whatever. He sucks. Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right, last few pitchers here. I think I got 3 on this list.
I have a bunch. Let me start running them off.
You start running them off.
Lucas Giolito.
Lucas Giolito, I have to the Chicago Cubs. They love themselves a white boy, and I think in terms of boring starting pitchers, he fits that mold.
I have him Astros just because, again, they need to fill out the middle of the rotation. And
They've
it's
been
just
linked to him in the past.
Yeah, they've been linked to him. He's a boring veteran. If not, I see the A's similarly to what we talked about with Glaber, with a lot of these other guys, throwing some money at him and just hoping he comes over.
Cool.
Brandon Woodruff.
If it's not the Brewers, show me the Guardians. They love to take these like little project guys every once in a while. And
I don't think he's a project anymore.
You don't think so?
Coming off awesome this year.
Yes, but he had another injury again, still coming off the shoulder stuff. I'm sure the Guardians would like to try and cash in on what they saw with Brandon Woodruff. And also, I like seeing like the thought process. Guardians have another mountain of a pitcher in Gavin Williams. Maybe they see they can do a little something with Brandon Woodruff even more.
Yeah, I see that. But he's a Southern boy. I can see him going to the Braves. Like he's
Yeah.
a Braves attitude guy. I also wouldn't count out the Royals. The Royals just love a veteran pitcher. I think it makes sense.
Sure. Who you got next?
Max Scherzer.
Orioles. He's the
Yeah.
guy who I think the Orioles just like take a shot on. Cheap contract, veteran, back into the
Mercedes.
rotation, whatever. Yeah, whatever we get from you, we'll be happy.
I have Scherzer, Phillies for that reason too.
Oh man, I'd like love it and hate it.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere where he thinks he can win. It's just like
You
seven.
think he's
going
going
to
to chase a ring? That's what he's interested in.
Definitely. What did he do this year?
I mean, I don't know if preseason.
That's
I
true,
don't think
actually, good
anybody
point.
thought the Blue Jays were chasing a ring. I thought that was him
Yeah,
being
that's a
like,
good
I can
point.
pitch here.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Yeah, maybe. I mean, but how many innings does he really have left on a yearly basis?
80, like you said.
And the Phillies could use just like a swingman guy. They know he's going to give you 100, so just give me 100.
Any other names you have on there? I am done on my list.
Yeah, I got a few weird ones I'm going to start running down. Dustin May.
Oh God, Dustin May. Dustin May.
Big name, bad pitcher.
You are. Let's see, Dustin May. You are a Pittsburgh Pirate.
I have him Milwaukee Brewers.
Sure, cool.
Yeah.
He stinks.
Try it again.
He talk about a guy who like visually watching him on TV, you're like, how can he stink? And then he's never pitched well at any point in his career. It feels like.
No, definitely not. I got some relievers now. You want to run through relievers, close them out, closers to close?
Yeah, closers to close.
Robert Suarez.
Robert Suarez is staying in San Diego.
I don't know. I see the Angels.
Okay, well, hey, stupid. I like it.
They'll be like, look at all these saves.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Chasing saves as the Angels. Oh, just to shit on Jim Bowden again for a second. He had him comped to the same contract, like $4 million less than what Edwin Diaz is going to get. I'm like, did you hit your fucking head and wake up stupid?
Jim Bone's going for saves. Same thing. Maybe get a job with the Angels again. Raisel Iglesias.
Oh man, Raisel Iglesias. Give me the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, okay, I like that one. I have him back to the Braves. They didn't trade him. I'm sure that's just you're going to stay here
And
anyway.
he was still pretty good.
quite good.
Yeah.
The closers that have tons of pitches, they age much more gracefully. Pete Fairbanks.
Marlins are going to trade for Pete Fairbanks. I think Bendix is.
I think it's like a $12 million club option, which I'm sure the Rays decline.
You think so?
I don't think they're going to pay a reliever $12 million.
All right. Well, regardless, Marlins.
Okay, Marlon. I think Nationals just get a guy who can just give him 1 year for again 15. Just see if you can shore up the back of that bullpen.
Free agent market would be interesting because you won't have to give anything up. And I think he's an unbelievable 8th inning guy on a lot of competitive teams.
And I think he's a great 9th inning guy among competitive teams.
Yes.
Yeah. Last two. Kenley Jansen.
Dodgers. He wants to be a Dodger so badly, I think, to end his career. So put him there.
Just staying close by just in case. And then last one, just, why not? Emilio Pagan.
Emilio Pagan, you are going to be... Emilio Pagan is going to be a Texas Ranger.
Yeah, Arizona Diamondbacks. Same idea.
Yeah, I mean, that bullpen's putrid.
If you guys stuck with us, where's Emilio Pagan going? Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments where you think Emilio Pagan signs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this exercise. 45 minutes of, a minute of a free agent. That's pretty good. Hope you guys liked it. Subscribe to the channel. Trade predictions are coming out later this week. Appreciate the amazing support. Remember to join memberships if you want to support there. Otherwise, that's it. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Giraffe Neck Mark with a C. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.